Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. Before we get started on today's project, I just wanted to show you some of the new colors that I have gotten from Eye Candy. These are pastes that I got, and the one thing I really like about Eye Candy is if they send you a paste, they always wrap it up in saran wrap. And I like that because if it decides to leak, at least it's not going to leak all over everything. And they do, that's wrapped around there about 4 or 5 times. So that's brilliant. And I just wanted to point that out in case you haven't bought any from Eye Candy. I am an affiliate. You do get a discount if you buy using my coupon. And I believe it's 15%. So let me take you through the colors, and then I'm going to tell you what I plan on doing, not with them in this video, I'm hoping my next video. So we have a pink. Again, I'm not going to try and pronounce words I can't. And it's a dark pink. I wasn't expecting it to be that dark. I know that when you look at things on a computer, they always look a little different than from what you actually get. So it's just the coloring on computers. So we have that. We also have a beige. Now I've been wanting to try beige for a while. So I was quite excited. This had been out of stock, and I just happened to notice that they had it back, and I thought, well, then we're going to try it. So this is their beige. I guess I could have done it from this side. Oh yeah, here. Okay, now these haven't been stirred, obviously, because I haven't opened them yet. So this is the beige. I also got a sand yellow. So let me just find the beginning of this. I think this is it. This is a pretty color. It almost reminds me a bit of mustard yellow. All right. So that's their sand yellow. We have a violet with a really cool first name, but I don't know what it is. Okay. And that's the name. All right, I'll leave that up to you to decide how that's pronounced. That's a really pretty color. And let me try and get this one. And we have another pink with another really cool first name, which Sakura, maybe it's Sakura. And that's what that looks like. So what I want to do when I finally get around, not those 3, but what I want to do is, in my head, I have a thought that these 2 colors would look pretty together. So I'm wanting to do a piece that will involve these 2 colors. Again, hoping it might be my next video. We'll see how that goes out for me. And yeah, we'll see what these colors look like together. The reason I'm kind of thinking these 2 colors is back about 2 or 3 years ago, probably closer to 3, I did a paint pour where I used, I'd say, a beige and a couple of different blue colors, and it turned out really cool. I just thought, you know what, I want to see how these 2 colors play together. Yeah, so we're gonna check that out, but that's got nothing to do with our video today. What are we going to be doing? Well, this is a mold that I picked up at Michael's. I don't know how long ago, and I sort of look at this as being our Lego mold. I'm not going to put Lego in the title, though, just because I know it's a trademark, and I'll just mention that in my video. So I thought it might be kind of fun to do these pieces, one, to see how they're going to look, which may seem like a really odd thing to say, but I want to see how they're going to look. And I want to know how well we can actually stack these and whether the divots in this are going to be enough that we can actually attach them. So I thought, let's try this out. Let's see what happens. We're going to be using mixed mold. We're not using resin on these. And the 3 colors I want to sort of have fun with are their rose red. And I shouldn't say, this is not mixed mold. This is from Temu. Rose red. We have a green. And the garnet. And don't ask me, I just, thought let's just play with these 3 colors. I did measure out that these take about 10 mils of water. So what I did was I have got everything measured out now. I'm doing 60 mils of the ceramic resin, And I probably should have an additional whatever, because I thought what I would do is I would do 4 of each color. I can repeat if I need to, but I'm also, because I've got over here, and just in case we do need, I'd love to do a bird in ceramic resin. I'm just not sure I can pull that off without, you know, potentially breaking something. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this mold here that I've used in a previous video, and we can pour some into that, because I can take those, like if I make these pieces out of ceramic resin, I can always decoupage them, I can paint them, I can decorate them up a little bit. So I think I'll do those as well. As I say, we've got everything measured up. Now we could, I'm trying to think, you know what, I'm not going to. I was going to say I would, actually I will, because I'm doing them separately, right? So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. So we'll just start. I've always, as usual, I've always got extra water off to the side should I need it. And let's just do this, and we'll start. I really needed to get a bigger cup. I should have gotten a bigger cup for this, but anyway. A wet wipe. And we'll very carefully, these cups hold about 90 ml of water. But of course the powder, before you get the water added, just kind of, you know, fills it up really quickly. Let's get this. I've got my stuff is sticking to the bottom, and I want to be really careful so I don't send this flying. I might need a little bit more water. I went a little lower than what was needed for water because I thought, well, you're going to be putting pigment color in it. Let's put that off to the side. I got to get to the bottom with a stir stick because I've got some sticking on the bottom. I can feel it really sticking. So I want to get that moved about. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but here where I am, it is hot and we desperately need rain. They've actually got a fire ban in place now for where I am because the ground, we have not had a decent rain in probably 2 to 3, I'd say almost 3 weeks. So it's getting, we need water. We need it. So I don't know what it's like anywhere else in the world, but here, yeah, we're definitely needing water. And I've been going out and watering the garden to, you know, help the plants because I feel for them. I feel for the wildlife too, because I don't know what water they've got, you know, wherever they are. And I keep thinking I should put a container out for the birds so they can have some water. But yeah, it's very dry here. So I am hoping for some rain, because that would be wonderful. So that's what I've got so far. I think I'm going to put a little bit more in that. Just make it a little bit darker. It's so interesting, the color, when you see the color that it comes out of the bottle, and then you get to see sort of how pretty a color it becomes once you mix it up. It's deceiving. That's for sure. And I hope everyone's enjoying their summer. I know down in the States, and again, not being from the States, I know some of those states, the kids are back to school already. Whereas here, they don't go back until September 3rd. But then our school year also ends later than yours does. All right, let's see how well we did. Let's see if we can't pour this in slowly so we get it in all of the holes without sort of running into air pockets. I'm not going to quite go to the top because I don't want to have it have like a domed effect on it. That I don't want. And I thought, well, it doesn't really matter how thick they are. And because we're dealing with ceramic resin and those and I'm starting to set. I gotta get some more water in that, and I've got way too much. All right, let's get some water, and I think that's one of the things with, here, let's just put a little bit of that in there. Oops, that's probably way too much now, but I do want to loosen it up a little bit. So just pour a little bit more in each of those. I'm going to juggle this around a little bit so it settles flat. That's the other thing I want. Yeah, I've made too much. All right, I'm going to need this. All right, yeah, I'm starting to set up again. So I'm going to bring out my coaster. Always making too much, eh? Put these in here. That. And here I thought, well, I could make some extra of the blocks, but I can also use this and then play around with it some, eh? And then I'm just going to put the rest of this in here. And then at the end, if I have to make up some more of this, then I will. So I'm trying to see if I remember that this product, what's the word I'm looking at? Sets it up faster. So I'm going to pour a little bit more water in here because I took some out. And all right. So let me just clean up. So definitely don't need 60 of that. I went way overboard on that. So if I were thinking about it again, I could probably get away with 40 total in that. I'll keep going because I can fill up different things, and I can definitely fill this up. And the only thing I want to do, because I'm noticing it, let's get a piece of this out. Now you'll notice I have extremely long nails. I did my nails up for a wedding on the weekend. Kept them longer this time than I normally would. Normally I don't go that long with my nails, but I did this time. And it took probably in total for me to do them by myself took me about 5 hours. So I didn't like how I had them originally, so I added some decals and nail foils to them just to make them a little more exciting. Some of you may not be into the whole nail thing, but I don't do it very often, but I do like doing my nails. All right, I'm wondering if maybe this time for the green, we'll just mix the colorant into the water. And then we'll go from there. Because it's setting up really quickly. Use a stir stick to start so I can get right down to the bottom. So has anyone done anything exciting this summer? I don't know what any of you really get up to, but hopefully whatever you've been doing this summer, you've been enjoying yourself. Hopefully able to get outside into nature. I try at least to get out, a couple of times throughout the day. And I also have my puppy dog, and I know she likes it outside. I can't leave her outside. Our vegetable garden is coming along very well. and she likes to pick her own vegetables, which may to some of you sound a little odd. She is a miniature schnauzer, and she has a mind of her own, and she goes out and she picks her own vegetables. So we're talking carrots, beans, and peas. She actually had a radish this year. We kind of wondered why she would bother with that, but anyway, she had a radish. And she seems to think that the garden's hers to go out and take whatever she wants when she wants, which is okay and isn't okay. But anyway, so I tend not to leave her outside, especially when I'm doing these videos. I just can't leave her outside by herself. And I don't like the idea of tying her up. So, yeah. Wonderful dog, but definitely has a mind of her own. Definitely has a mind of her own. Okay, I'll pour some of this in here. Guess we'll just let this go. And then if I have any of the other color left, I'll maybe do another set of the pendants, earrings, call them what you will. And then I'll fill it up with, yeah, so let's just bring this over here. So yeah, the pink is definitely, or I shouldn't call it pink, that's not true. The garnet is definitely setting up really quickly. And then let's do, I wonder if it is better to do the color in the water as opposed to doing it the way I did it, because the green is not setting up near as quickly as what the garnet did. So that might be something I try and remember for the future. Just going to put a lot of that in because I do want it to be a much different color. Let me just wipe off my stick. So what do you think? Do you think these are actually going to clip together or not? And I'm thinking if you did them in resin and you didn't do them as deep, you could use them as earrings. I'm not thinking the ceramic resin is going to lend itself to you making them into earrings. A pendant, I could see that. And I could see it as a brooch for, you know, a shirt or something like that. But I'm thinking as far as an earring went, it would just be too heavy. Now the other thing I'm kind of wondering about, which is kind of interesting as I'm working with the pink, I'm wondering if the pigments have different product in them. And the reason I'm saying is that this pink is sort of setting up a little quick too. And I'm just wondering if there's something in them that makes them different from the green. Because yeah, it's setting up just a little bit. I'm just going to grab a little bit more water. Go down into the water, Natalie. Let's add just a touch more of water to that. Yeah, I just wonder if it's got something to do with what's in it. Let me make this a little more pink. Wonder. Because again, I mean, the green's starting to set up over here in the mold. But yeah, that's got me kind of curious. Let's get this poured. It's getting a little more challenging. Yeah, so this pink, this rose red, and the garnet aren't too far off from the same, being the same color. You know, we could always have some fun with some spray paint and spray them once they're fully set up. Okay, I think that's sufficient. Now I'll go over top of the, actually, you know what? We'll just do this in the center and let this go wherever it wants. And then maybe what I'll let it do, I didn't put any into that other mold, which I'd kind of thought I might do. So I think what we'll do is we'll let this all set up. I'm going to make up some more of the ceramic resin to go in this piece here. And then we've got over the side, so hopefully you can see that well enough. And yeah, we'll come back when it's ready to take these out. I'm going to let these sit for probably 2 hours just because of those knobs on the top and wanting to make sure that it is set up properly. We don't want to break it when we're taking them out because we're going to have to bend this mold a little bit to get things out. So we'll let them sit for about 2 hours. We'll come back and we will see if we can actually clip them together. And the other thing that might have to be done if you do this is to sand them a little bit first before putting them on. Now I'm thinking to myself, this isn't going to work, is it? Because we don't have the opposite, if you get my drift. So these are all going to be flat. There's going to be nothing. Yeah, I can't use these as building blocks, can I? Wow, I'm just realizing that now. And that might be another one of those things that you caught on well before I did. But anyways, let's see how they work out as far as how they come out. And then we will, talk a little bit more about it then. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. So I went over and I looked at my Lego pieces, and I can't even use my Lego pieces with this. So for anyone who's laughing at me, you go for it. I think it's awesome. And again, you know what? Every once in a while, I think and have a really cool idea, and then all of a sudden I'm in the middle of my video and go, oh, that's not going to work now, is it? So that's okay. It doesn't matter that this isn't going to be exactly the way I had thought it was going to be. I did make up some yellow using the Alumilite yellow pigment. I decided to, make my coaster a very bright yellow. I have one of the block pieces not fully up, and then I've got my pieces over here. So we might as well get these out first. We'll get this out and then we'll pull these out, and I'll try and come up with some brilliant idea on what we can do with them. I don't think I'm totally messed up because I can't stack them. So again, I had mentioned about in a previous video, I have a dehumidifier. I'm going to put these pieces in there, and I'm finding that it's drying them out nicer, and I'm not getting as many of these splotches, if you will, on the pieces I'm doing. I'm just throwing it out there. If you have a dehumidifier, it's something you may want to consider. So let's get these out. And I made 100 mil of the yellow, and obviously I didn't need 100 mil, but I didn't want to be short. And I'll take these pieces once they've dried out, and I'm going to probably decoupage them somehow, or I'm going to put tattoos on them. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with them at this point, but I'm going to do something fun with them. And I know I had talked about the coaster and trying to fix that up because of the oops on that one. I am working on potentially doing a sort of junk journal piece in the middle of it, and I'm in the throes of figuring that out. Again, I will, once I've got it figured out, I'll be happy to show you, how that looks. I want to get into the junk journaling, and I just have to play a little bit. So I hope you can bear with me. Let's get this out. And again, I've always said too that if you're using these pieces for the ceramic resin and then you want to put resin in them, make sure you clean them out because it will pick up. All right, now that looks pretty cool. A little psychedelic there for you, anyone who was born in the 60s or earlier. And I think I'll do something fun, light, and airy with that one. And I always like, you know what, as much as some videos are specific on something, I actually like that I have, you know, leftovers sometimes, and then we can just play and come up with different things to do. I have a quote or a saying, I dare to be different, which is so totally true of me, and I have some t-shirts that I want to put that saying on the back of. I dare to be different. Because we all are. There's no two people alike in the world. And I want to just do things differently. So I'm going to hopefully get this out easy this way. See what happens here. Okay. Well, that's not working. I was hoping they might just pop out on their own, but apparently not. And again, we're going to be really careful. So yeah, pretty much 2 hours on this. I think I'm going to, like I say, I don't have sort of a brilliant idea for these right now, but I like to think there's something really cool that can be done with them. Again, resin would be lighter. They definitely don't have to be that thick, right? Because that's fairly thick. That's got to be, what, 1.5 inches? Almost 2 inches? So they don't have to be that thick. And the first one had an air bubble. So let's put the ones that don't. So that one, this one does. I'm going to find something to do with these guys. It's got to be something we can do with them. And if you have any thoughts on that, I would love you to comment below. Make this a team effort. Well, that one has a tiny little air bubble. Actually, in the same spot. That's funny. Now, I'm not looking at the other side. I'm only seeing one side. But if they're on the top, they'll be easy to see. Yeah, there's got to be something we can do with these. Just going to leave that there for a minute. Going to let my brain think for a moment. We're doing well. I'm very impressed that we have two that have an issue with, you know, air pockets, and then the rest, well, yeah, we have two. So we did very well. We only have two, and they're small. Like, I mean, they're not really big and in your face. All right, I want to get this out of the way. I want to bring these guys sort of up front because they're really what we're all dealing with. I just feel like there should be something we can do with these pieces that's different and unusual. And of course, whenever you're on the spot, you can't think of anything. I just want to put that over there for a second. So one thought that went through my mind in regard to this, even though we can't like clip them together, I'm almost wondering, because we have the space in between them, if we, and I mean, you wouldn't see them, but if we sealed them up really well, you know, could they be used in a pot somehow so that when you watered something, again, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but if you watered something that, you know, the water would flow in and around and down. So that's going through my head. Again, I'm not sure that's a brilliant idea or not. Oh, man. I feel like I should have some brilliant idea for you, and right now I don't have one. Yeah, there's nothing. Usually I have some ideas for you, and on this video I have nothing. Yeah, I don't. I have nothing right now. And that's okay, because I don't always have to have an idea. I don't always have to have an idea. It would have been cool if we could have actually, you know, clipped them together. I still think, and like, again, not necessarily with this, but with resin, making a pendant out of them, and especially if you've got option. Yeah, I am at a loss right now as to any kind of ideas for this, but that's okay, because even though I don't have an idea right now, we know if we let it sit for about 2 hours, for the most part, we're not going to have any air bubbles. I did need to add some extra water because of using these pigments, which is totally cool. I would definitely recommend you mix the colorant in with the water before you stir it up. I'm not losing hope. I am going to sit with this and see what I can come up with. Now, okay, here's a really bizarre idea, and I don't have anything to show you on. I have nothing square. I'm looking for something square, because what I was thinking you could do, okay, this is bear with me, this is a really poor idea of square, okay? But if you had something square and you didn't make these as thick, you could make, like, put these around, right? Attach them somehow, put them around, and have it be like a 3D. So I'm thinking a pot that you would put flowers in. I don't have, do I? Not really easily available. Okay, just give me a second. Again, thinking out loud, don't know whether this is a good idea, and it may not be, but that's okay. I'm up for giving people ideas. Give me a second. I apologize for the noise. I really do. I probably could have gotten away without taking my speakers off. Okay, so imagine. Not so thick. Don't make them this thick. But you could do something like this. Right? And I know this is rounded, but that's not the point. The point is just to give you sort of an idea of something you could, I guess, if we, depending on how you want to do it and what colors you've got, doesn't really matter. So let's just do this. Again, you wouldn't want to make it very thick because it's going to make whatever the piece is heavier. Granted, these are still wet, not dried out. But here's an idea of doing something like this to give it a grip on the side of something, right? Because these would act like a grip for you. So there's that idea. If you made these out of resin, there is the potential for you making earrings, for sure, on that. So we have that idea. Again, I don't have anything else sort of flying into my head at this moment. No, I got nothing. Which is unusual, because usually I have all kinds of ideas for you as I get closer to the end, but I don't on this. So what do we got? You could use them on the outside of something, if it were square or even rectangle, because these would, being that these are ceramic resin, you could probably cut through these relatively easily, and or If you were using resin, again, using something like a Dremel, like cutting them down to the size you need. If you really wanted to be unique, you could decoupage these, just the size of these, and then use them as like for wind chimes. I mean, you could do that too. We're not without, you know, doing wind chimes. Again, make them lighter, make them out of resin. Pendant, brooch. Just a cool something to make for your kids that they could just play with and, you know, piece. I know you can't put them together, right? Like we know we can't do that and have them stick together. Again, the idea of the water. If you use these in a pot of some sort, that the water could flow through. You'd have to seal these really well, though, in order to do that so they didn't break down and decay. Again, I don't know how strong ceramic resin is, that whether or not it would do that, but I'm just saying I would make sure they were really, really well sealed. But yeah, I'm sure there's a use for this. I will put some more thought into this, and as soon as I have an idea for you, I will let you know. And if I use them in something, I will show you what I've used them in. Anyway, again, thank you very much for showing up for my videos. I appreciate that I'm not getting them out twice a week anymore. Got a lot going on right now. Having said that, I do still love making these videos for you guys. I hope you appreciate sort of the tips that I give you, the ideas I give you, because who knows? You may be looking at this and you've seen something without me even knowing that there's a really cool idea for these. Be creative. You know, put your comments below on what you think, what you see, what your visual is. And I just really appreciate you watching my videos. So, until the next one, take care, be creative, and bye for now.